Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. All right, man. We've got Angel McCoughtry absolutely crashing out, going at WNBA owners, and even dragging Caitlin Clark into this whole open the books conversation. And honestly, this entire situation is wild, straight up unhinged. Everything that's happened over the last few days has been straight chaos, and the tone keeps getting louder instead of smarter, which is embarrassing. Now, let's be clear. Angel McCoughtry had an incredible career, both in college and professionally. She's an all-timer, no debate there. But just because you're a legend doesn't mean every take is automatically right. She went off, no filter, reckless as hell, and that's where the problem starts. Demanding owners open their financial books is ridiculous. Flat out nonsense. That doesn't happen in the real world. No regular employee walks into a company and tells ownership to hand over private financials. It's not normal, it's not realistic, and it's not how business works anywhere. The WNBA is no different. Okay, let's jump straight into what she had to say first, and then we'll break down the full clip afterward.
The players have been standing their ground, and the players have been right this whole time. In order for the WNBA to save this league right now, you have to open the books. Let me repeat, open the books. What's the big deal? Guess what? You open the books and we're wrong? Okay, you know what? Sorry, WNBA, we were wrong. We'll take it back. We'll shut our mouths. We'll go play. We'll do everything you ask. So why not open the books?
The league called the recent proposal unrealistic, and it could lead to hundreds of millions of dollars of losses for our teams. But again, we're finding out that a lot of things are trending up. The stories don't all line up and make sense. We're constantly getting new information about attendance records being set around WNBA. Team expansion fees, geez Louise. Billionaires are fighting for a chance to bring a WNBA team to their cities for $250 million price tag.
All right, wait, because people keep missing the point here. They don't have to open the books. They simply don't. It's the same reason the owner of Target isn't handing financial statements to the cashier working register 6. It's the same reason the owner of McDonald's isn't breaking down profit margins for the guy taking your order at the drive-thru. That's not how business works anywhere, and suddenly pretending the WNBA should be different is nonsense, pure delusion. Here's the reality. The owners have already offered significantly more money, way more. At some point, you either take the deal or you walk away. And honestly, a lot of fans are over it, completely over it. This thing has been dragged out for so long that people are just tired. Tired of the noise, tired of the posturing, tired of the entitlement, tired of the clown show. If it comes down to replacement players, so be it. As long as Caitlin Clark and the rookie class are on the floor, a lot of fans will still tune in. Harsh truth, but it's real. Many people don't even care to watch these vets anymore after the way this is played out. That's just facts people don't want to hear. And then you hear, oh, the WNBPA is right. How? When the very players they represent are calling leadership greedy. When players are publicly saying, we want to sign the deal, we want to play, what are y'all doing? That's not unity. That's dysfunction. That's a mess. The delusion around the situation is insane, truly insane. Attendance records don't excuse chaos, and pretending otherwise is just living in fantasy land with your head buried in the sand. All right, so that was her going all in on this whole open the books argument. Now, let's actually listen to the full clip, because this one is wild. And when you really break it down, the reality is pretty simple. The WNBA owners have already drawn a hard line in the sand when it comes to revenue sharing. It's 15%. That's it. That's the number they're standing on. On top of that, max contracts are jumping to around $1.3 million. Across the board, players are making more money than ever before. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to a choice. You either take the deal or you don't. It's that straightforward. The owners don't have to open their books, and the players don't have to sign the agreement. But let's be real about the leverage here. Owners can weather missed games and delayed seasons a lot easier than players can weather missed paychecks. That's just the reality of how this business works, whether people like it or not.
Let's start off, Angel.
All right, let's get into it, man.
WNBA, CBA negotiations. We are less than 3 months away from the alleged May 8th start of the WNBA season and tip-off, and there's still no new deal. But there is new information, And one thing we love is the tea.
The tea.
No, but for real, no, the newest news is actually really eye-opening. Mm-hmm. We recently found out that in 2025, the WNBA generated enough revenue to trigger revenue sharing with its players. This is the first time that's ever happened. There hasn't been enough money made or revenue made in order for them to have a revenue sharing model even triggered. And this is the first time that's happened. $8 million was given to 13 teams to disperse amongst its players, so the 13 teams that played last season. And this is a great quote from Brianna Turner, who's a WNBPA treasurer. She told ESPN, "This shows our value and how what we're fighting for makes sense and how we should keep fighting." And I think so that's absolutely spot on. This is a really large indicator that, for some of the propaganda that the players were being greedy and they were trying to take from a pot that wasn't there. This is very real news that the league and its financials are trending up. So far, what we've heard from the league, you'd have to take their word for it, right? Like that there isn't money made because of the pie. Is it gross or is it net revenue? What we're seeing is that there's an issue in agreeance, not only on the slice of pie, but what the pie even is. Like, are y'all having apple pie or are y'all having pumpkin pie? Because these are two completely different pies.
Yeah.
The pie the players are talking about is gross revenue, which is the total money a business makes. They want 27 to 30% of that. And the players have been in negotiations willing to come down on that percentage. Now, the league is standing firm on net revenue, which is money after expenses like charter planes, arenas, hotels, security, operating costs. So that number is much smaller. That pie is much smaller to even take a slice out of. And they're standing firm on WNBA, who owns the league, team owners. And then there's a special interest group, which also includes some of those owners from that other two groups. First, more information that has come in these CBA negotiations is we've gotten a date. For a while there, we didn't know how long we could wait. I mean, it's already the end of February. Season's supposed to start March.
It's free agency right now, guys.
It should have been. Like, we should have been talking about.
How many free agents are out there right now, Ross?
Unrivaled last season was a hotbed for free agency. There was all of this like cool stories coming out about the players thinking about where to go. And also, this is one of the biggest free agencies ever in the history of like over 100 free agents. When I discuss players, I don't say so-and-so player from the Seattle Storm because I have no idea what team they're going to be on next season. Like, most of these teams don't even know what their rosters are going to look like because there's so many free agents out there. And that's absolutely crazy given for a number of planning and logistical reasons. Forget the players, just for being able to set up a successful season if you don't know who's on the teams. So, okay, March 10th has been floated now as this deadline to avoid delays on the season schedule. And the league has kind of put this date out there, March 10th, like, we've got to, have certain things signed and paperwork, the lawyers will figure it out, but that's the date. Otherwise, we're going to have to start to postpone, push back, alter dates and scheduling on the season as it's been laid out.
Roz, do you think that date is going to be met? I don't think so, but do you think it's going to be met?
Well, that's interesting because, again, floating that date on the players puts a lot of pressure on them now to have to potentially agree to a CBA that they're not completely comfortable with.
I don't think the players care about that. I mean, we just saw Breanna Stewart sign with Fenerbahce. To me, that is a sign right there that something is going on that we don't know about. But does this give other leagues a chance to step up? Because maybe I'm hearing that Unrivaled may go 5-on-5 in the summer.
I think it's really interesting, like, Unrivaled, Athletes Unlimited, Project B, like all these alternative leagues have created some momentum. There's options. Not for every single player though. Like, even with Unrivaled and even with Athletes Unlimited, not every single WNBA player has a chance to play in those leagues. Those leagues account for 100-something players. There's more than that in the WNBA. So that's actually, speaking of gamesmanship, like, we got now this rush to get this done potentially by March 10th to not affect the season schedule. Mm-hmm. And that could now rush them. But the league also took 6 weeks during this process at one point to respond to one of the WNBPA's, the Player Association's proposals that they sent to them.
That's unrealistic.
Right. So if anybody has moved or showed evidence of them not moving with pace in this entire negotiation, it was the league who took 6 weeks of this very critical off season to not respond. And I actually think they use the waiting game there as a part of gamesmanship to cause a rift between economic classes, because not every single player in the league can afford to miss the WNBA salary. The owners, that group, they're billionaires. They can sit out the money.
Right.
But there's players here who need their salary.
They need their salary
that aren't
for sure.
playing Unrivaled, that aren't playing Athletes Unlimited, that haven't had the chance through brand deals and marketing or NIL, who aren't the top 15 players in the league, who aren't millionaires, and need the money. And that starts to create rift and lack of unity in the association. And
that is so good, Ross. So last thing I'm going to say about that is, I know you guys don't want to release these books, but release Kathy Engelberg's salary. Like I said before, what does she make? Okay. What is she getting? We know at least she's making $3 million. Put it out there, because it's unrealistic that everybody's salary is out. Once again, Kathy's is hidden. She's the only salary who's hidden.
All right, let's really break this down, because somehow people are still confused, like painfully confused. The reason it took 6 weeks with no response is simple. The WNBPA sent in an offer that was basically the same as the last one. Same tired nonsense, same numbers, same structure, and same unrealistic expectations. And the owners looked at it and said, yo, this is a joke. We already told you we're not walking into hundreds of millions in losses. That silence everyone keeps crying about, that was the response. Not answering was the answer. It was the owners saying, y'all are playing games, and not even good ones. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. You submit a bogus proposal, get told no, then come back with the same thing dressed up slightly different, like anyone wouldn't notice. At that point, the message back is clear. Goodbye. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. The owners have been very clear. Sign a CBA and quit playing games, this childish bullshit. Because every extra day this drags on, the deal only gets worse. You wait another day? Cool, maybe the offer drops another 2%. You want to stall until the 10th? Fine, but don't be shocked when the terms keep shrinking day by day. Cry about it later. That's how leverage works. Now, here's the part that nobody wants to talk about: the lack of transparency. Not from the owners, but from the union itself. Agents have openly said there's been a serious lack of transparency coming from the WNBPA. They're not getting full information. They're getting bits and pieces, the polished version of the story. Only the parts leadership wants them to hear. Convenient as hell. And anyone who's ever dealt with business knows exactly how that feels. When someone tells you a story but leaves out the inconvenient details, you already know something's off. Shady as hell. That's exactly how players and agents feel right now. And that's why agents are pissed. That's why they're frustrated. They feel like the union leadership isn't being straight with them at all. Which is also why agents have started reaching out directly to WNBA owners and GMs. Not to undermine anyone, but to get answers. To say, hey, my players want to play. They're ready. They're good to go. I don't know what the union is talking about, but let's get this done, because the circus is embarrassing. And that's the irony in all of this. You've got union leadership demanding transparency from owners, screaming about opening the books, yelling about fairness, while not even being transparent with the very players they represent. That's backwards. Completely backwards. Ass backwards. So yeah, it's interesting. Actually, it's more than interesting. It's telling. Because when your own agents and players are questioning you, that's not solidarity. That's dysfunction. Get in the comments and let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.